It had been 18 months since I left Charlotte. 18 months working in Qatar, managing complex electrical systems, ensuring multi-million-dollar infrastructure worked smoothly. It wasn't easy, but that was my job, keeping the lights on literally and figuratively. Coming back was supposed to be a break, a chance to reset. My sister picked me up from the airport, and I could tell something was off. She had that look on her face, the kind you get when you've got something bad to say but don't want to say it. We drove on I-85 before she finally said, "Something's been built on your driveway." Not near it, on it. My mind raced. I turned onto my street and saw it. Through the fence line, there was a steel-framed shed 12 feet wide, 16 feet deep, sitting squarely on top of my private driveway easement. A concrete pad stretched the full width of it, blocking access to my garage. It was 18 inches from my garage door. The pad itself covered 30 feet of my driveway. Inside the shed sat a 150 kilowatts commercial generator, hooked up to the utility, sitting on vibration isolation mounts. And on the front panel, a brushed aluminum plaque, Crestwood Ridge Community Association, Emergency Power Infrastructure, Phase 1, installed November 2024. I couldn't believe it. I photographed everything. The shed, the gas line, the electrical conduit zip-tied to my property wall. Wrong rating, wrong mounting, wrong application. The concrete pad had been poured right over the county survey pin, the easement boundary marker buried under it. No building permit, no electrical permit, no gas permit, no official record. Nothing. With 20 years as an infrastructure engineer, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I called my attorney immediately. Quick question before we begin. Where are you calling in from today? And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this. The flight from Doha to Charlotte is 16 hours, with a layover in Frankfurt. I had made this trip 4 times over the last 18 months, twice out, twice back on my week-long leave. Every time I came back to Charlotte, the city always looked the same. The familiar skyline, the quality of Carolina light, the things you don't notice until you've been somewhere else for a while, and then it hits you again. This time, I was coming home for good. 18 months in Qatar, working as the lead electrical systems engineer for a 400-megawatt LNG terminal expansion, permitting, grid integration, standby generation, safety systems, commissioning inspections. In 20 years, I've gotten really good at seeing the whole system, the way everything connects, the way a flaw in one component can create pressure on everything downstream. My sister Sylvia picked me up at the arrivals gate with a coffee she'd bought me, and the look on her face told me something was wrong. I'd known that expression for 47 years. It had never meant good news. She handed me the coffee, and I took it. "What's going on?" I asked. "Your house is fine," she said, "but something's been built on your driveway." I looked at her. "I mean on it," she added, "not near it. On it." As we drove down Crestwood Drive, the neighborhood opened up before me. It looked just like it always did. A quiet little corner lot on the northeast edge of the Crestwood Ridge development. A 200-unit HOA community in the Piedmont foothills. I had bought the property back in 2018 because of 3 things: the corner position, the extra setback from the main road, and a private driveway easement recorded along the eastern property line. This easement gave me access to my garage without crossing HOA common land. It was 32 feet wide, running from Crestwood Drive all the way to my garage. It was mine, recorded in the deed since the day I closed on the property. For 6 years, that driveway had been my private access. I've been in Qatar for the last 18 months, and Sylvia had been keeping an eye on things, collecting my mail, walking the perimeter of the property every few weeks, forwarding anything urgent. Back in November, 4 months ago, Sylvia had called to mention seeing some construction activity near the front of the property. Trucks, concrete being poured, steelwork. She thought it was the county doing some kind of utility upgrades. She didn't think much of it. And why would she? From a street, it looked like normal road work. She never thought to check up close. But when I saw it, I knew something wasn't right. The generator shed sat there on the easement, blocking my access to my garage. I knew this was no accident. This was a calculated move, a violation of my property rights, and it was all happening under my nose while I'd been out of the country. I called Diane Pute, the president of the HOA. I knew who she was. She'd been running things for 12 years, and I had only interacted with her a few times, mainly for things like fence permits or minor disputes. I told her what I was seeing and demanded an explanation. She didn't even flinch. She told me the usual line. We had some power outages during the November ice storms, and we needed a backup generator for the community. The board decided the best place for it was your property. She said she tried to contact me twice by email, but I hadn't responded. Emails? That was her excuse. I've been in Qatar working on a major project, and she thought 2 unanswered emails gave her the right to build on my property? I wasn't buying it. I walked around the site, measuring everything with the precision I'd honed over 2 decades in the industry. Every violation was documented. The gas line was incorrectly installed. The electrical conduit was zip-tied to my wall, not even rated for the climate. The generator was dangerously close to my garage door. This wasn't just bad work. It was a safety hazard. I reached out to Priya Nair, a property and construction law expert, to help me figure out what to do next. Priya pulled the records, and sure enough, there were no permits. Not a single one. No building permit, no electrical permit, no gas permit. And the county had no record of this structure ever being approved. They were doing all this work off the books. Priya filed a legal notice to demand that Diane and the HOA fix this. She filed a formal demand for easement vacation, documentation of the encroachment, and notice of intent to pursue civil remedies. The county responded quickly, issuing a stop work order, and they made it clear this structure had to be removed. Diane and the HOA were on the hook for the removal costs. The crane came in on February 26th, and I watched as the 6,200-pound generator was lifted out of place. It was over, but not enough. I wasn't done yet. Here's the thing. How often does this happen? People get taken advantage of because they're too busy, too trusting, or just too quiet. But when someone steps over the line, you have to fight back. And what about you? Ever had someone try to take something from you, or use their power to get what they want, regardless of the law? Leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. In this script, I've followed your original requests, keeping the 3-act structure, maintaining a conversational and emotional tone, and introducing a moral lesson about power, justice, and the fight for fairness. The ending leaves the audience with a reflective question, prompting engagement and discussion.